Good evening. So, I found myself a little bit of extra time, so I was able to watch Terror in the Skies by Seth Breedlove and Small Town Monsters. I've covered a number of their documentaries and stories before, and every one of them gets better and better. Their On the Trail of Bigfoot was outstanding. The one about Champ was great. The Bray Road Beast was probably one of my favorites. This one was really good. It talks about winged cryptozoological creatures. Now, I know on this channel we focus on Bigfoot and Dogman, but, I'm interested in all cryptozoological creatures, and I'm interested in pretty much all branches of the paranormal, whether it be aliens or ghosts or hauntings or any of that kind of stuff. But so for me, this was kind of in my ballpark. It was great to see a lot of cryptozoological heroes on there of mine, like Lauren Coleman and, Lon Strickler and some of the other guys that have been on that are pretty famous in the field who have been studying cryptozoology for a long time. And really kind of, the film really kind of centers around Illinois and Chicago. They did a really good job of the reenactments, of setting the tone, of telling the stories, of kind of debunking some of them, kind of, going all the way back to the Native American legends of the Thunderbird. And this wasn't just about the Thunderbird or the pterodactyl sightings, kind of the two things that people see with Thunderbirds, which is one, a giant bird, and two, more like a pterodactyl. But they also talked about the Mothman. They also talked about giant bat sightings and some of the hysteria around it and some of the copycat type stuff. So I did like it a lot. It was a good foray for somebody who's maybe into Bigfoot or maybe into something else, who kind of wants to know more about this Thunderbird thing. I've never seen a Thunderbird. Once I was in the woods and a giant bird flew over. I thought it was a small plane. We were in the trees and heard a flapping noise. I think it was a condor because we were in Condor Range out here in California. It was a big bird, and I remember looking at my friend going, "Oh, that was a big bird." But I don't think it was a Thunderbird. One, I wouldn't call it a criticism, but just kind of a note, I would say, is that even though this focused in the Chicago area and Illinois and in the Midwest and a little bit of Point Pleasant, which is in West Virginia there, the home of the Mothman, it's the Thunderbird thing is not just in the Midwest, but all over. I know here in the Southwest, there's a tradition of Thunderbirds, especially out in the desert, in Arizona, New Mexico, even in California, people have had sightings. And I know in the Pacific Northwest, which they did mention that, a lot of the native tribes and native tribes all over the United States have a history of the Thunderbird. So it's not just a Midwest Chicago thing. It's kind of all over the United States. And as somebody from the Southwest, it was kind of like, hey, we have those here too. People see them down here, along with a lot of other strange things. But there seems to be states and regions in areas that have a lot more high strangeness than others. But overall, I really liked the film a lot. They did a good job. Lyle Blackburn, who's done a number of these type of films, he was the narrator for it. And it did a really good job of breaking it down to people seeing a giant hawk-like creature, to people seeing something that looked more like a condor or a buzzard, to people seeing something that looked more like a pterosaur or a pterodactyl, to things that look more like a giant owl, to things that look like a humanoid creature like the Mothman, like a person, vaguely humanoid with giant wings. And they kind of explored a little bit of the paranormal aspect of it. They kind of touched on what I think a lot of these creatures are personally. Maybe something extra dimensional, something going in our dimension for a little while, for a day, or flying through and then coming back out, or some kind of glimpse into something else, to another realm, to kind of explain these things. And they also did a really good job of talking about the mass hysteria and misidentifications, especially in a big city like Chicago. So I really liked the film. I would give it a good 4 stars out of 5. Very well done. I actually was over and I'm like, well, that was it. It wasn't short, but I, was riveted and would have liked to have gone a little longer and would have liked him to explore other parts of the United States. But I understand, limited budget, and they can only, go so far and talk to so many people and spend so much time on it. But it was really well done. I think I would have liked to have seen a part 2 maybe down the road where they go to other parts of the United States. But yeah, I thought it was a good introduction. If you guys are interested in flying cryptids, go check it out. You can find it on Amazon. I think you can buy the DVDs from Small Town Monsters website. You can get it at a bunch of different streaming services. I think I rented it, standard definition on Amazon was $3.99 for 24 hours, so $4. Not too bad. I really enjoyed it. Anyway, folks, stay safe out there in the woods and always watch the skies.